Yo, yo, yo. I figured I'd go live on my walk out in nature today, especially before I go full digital detox in this mofo. But I've been thinking a lot about this Mars in Virgo, especially because it's getting activated by this Yod, this finger of God, this very rare geometric aspect in astrology between Pluto and Aquarius. And that Sun-Jupiter conjunction that's coming. It's not officially here yet, but it's good. Sun-Jupiters in Cancer are great. This is where we can really find our footing and really start to anchor even more so, or at least recalibrate into the life that we're really meant to lead. But the strange thing about this Mars in Virgo with that South Node is you can kind of bring up the loser mentality, especially because that Mars is also in a Yod with Neptune and Pluto. It's like, if you can't be yourself, especially in a job situation right now, it's kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, don't sell yourself short. Don't try to fit in to the world and fog out your true spiritual nature, the boundless being that you are, by just like checking some boxes and shit. Like, this is where nobody cares. Like, just be the wild expression of you. I mean, what are the boundaries anyway with Pluto? It's kind of like, I think some people collectively have pushed the boundaries like way too far anyway, and that's a lot of the conversations we've been having these past years is like, maybe that's too far. So you can do that on a personal level, where whatever it is that you're doing with your day-to-day life, it just becomes second nature to you. It's not about this like literally like being in the show Severance. Like, it's crazy how movies and TV shows are always divinely timed, very Pisces. Like that show Severance on Apple, like just existing as a completely different person in like a job situation. And so I think this is where people really have to like look at this and go, well, if, you know, in a positive, like if you're in a situation where you're in like a 9 to 5, but maybe you do get to be you, or you're in like a position of leadership, you know, like management, something like that, then more power to you. But this is like really paying attention to kind of like not getting lost in the history of like what's happening collectively right now, which is like, if you can't be the full expression of yourself with this astrology, and also adapt it to just an understanding of what's happening in the world and how to be a force of change, and it's like still living that lifestyle of like, well, let me just go do my job and then watch my Netflix at night. It's like, well, I guess get to the back of the line and, you know, figure it out with your spirit guides, like when you cross over, like why you shit the bed in this incarnation, because it's a special one. So I think that there are these opportunities for us to like kind of like rise up and reclaim our power right now with these rare yods that are happening. So any situation that you find yourself like stuck in, like it's like just one of those like, oh, you know, I have to do this thing, I have to just like show up, and I can't drop it, you know. It's like some commitment, some type of daily routine thing that's like kind of got a dangling carrot thing going on, like, oh, I can't wait till this is over, I can't wait until I get to the end of the work week or whatever. That is putting the spiritual identity that we're all meant to be stepping into, like, not even on the back burner. Like, it's not even on a burner. Like, it's one of those things where we can't fool ourselves with this astrology with the illusion of time and I'll get to it later. It doesn't work that way. It's like, this is like, step into it now. And of course, there's always future cycles, but I think we have to look at this as like, this is like the warm up, this is the practice. And I think when Uranus goes into Gemini next month, like, it gets really real, like really fast, like really in the face of like, whoa, this is what the world's doing. Like, I saw some people, you know, it's like there's a lot going on right now, right? Some people were like, oh, you know, yeah, whatever, war and this and this. I'm just over here living my best life. And it's like, Jupiter in Cancer, Uranus and Gemini is like where, on some familiar home front, like, we all feel what's happening in the world. Like, you can be like, I'm living my best life, but it's like living the best life because you know how to thread the eye of the needle with what's going on in the world. It's not about ignoring it. It's not about ignoring what's going to happen with AI. It's not about ignoring conflicts in the world. It's about, you know, same thing that honestly got me through 2020, like fucking not only unscathed, but like really prosperous, was seeing what was going on in the world, but then also intuitively reflecting on, okay, like, how does this land for me? Right? Like, I knew when the whole CV thing was going down in China and it wasn't even a thing in America, I was like, okay, this is coming here. It's going to be a big thing, but there's going to be a lot of lies and deceit. The benefit of astrology and intuition combined, you know, to see that. And so what my instincts are telling me, you know, now with this astrology is that anyone can win, but winning looks like living through spiritual values that has been the thing that's been meant to come in from all the dark night of the soul, shadow work and releasing and deconditioning and all of that. Like, the winning is like stepping into the true spiritual nature. It's like more transpersonal. It's more like, you know, letting the ego kind of get out of the way, and like a lot of these like wants and expectations. I mean, as I'm doing this, the moon is crossing over Uranus right now in Taurus, and so we won't see this for a few months, since Uranus will be in Gemini the next time the moon goes through Taurus. And so there's a little mini activation here for going, okay, you got skills, you got things you know how to do. You know, if there's any doubts, if there's any hesitation, I mean, I don't think anyone really knows exactly like what they're doing right now. It's really just more about putting the best effort like forward to build something that hasn't been done before. And that can be scary because that automatically, that level of self-actualization will challenge all the programs. Am I doing the right thing? Am I safe and secure enough? Which, with that Jupiter sun that's happening, it's like, yeah, you are. You've been squared to Neptune, Saturn. It's like, you're protected and safe, and there is a sense of God's providence, but that providence comes from like working for the light, you know, like creation, not destructive energy. You know, because honestly, the energetic creation of like not aligning with these astrology transits of being the self is the anti-self, which is basically with Wateco. And that was like Paul Levy's work. And Aubrey Marcus like would talk about it a lot. And so it's like the devil that tries to stop us from being ourselves and creating and building, and it becomes, you know, sabotage. And so what this astrology brings up, especially with Mars in the mix in Virgo, it's like, it's not sabotage to make changes in your reality of like just saying no to building things that were going to be brittle to begin with, like short-term gain stuff, right? Mars and Virgo its home is Aries, where Saturn, Neptune are at. So it's like the easiest way to like simplify all this and go, well, am I on the right track? Is how's your health? How's your body feeling? If you have any health ailments right now, that's an immediate, red flag for not being fully aligned with basically the spiritual avatar self that is building and asking to be like rebuilt. Because this is like energy of like rebuilding ourselves, of going, okay, there was all the breakdown of what we weren't as individuals and even as humans, and all the dark night of the soul work, the shadow work, and that's still going on. But it's like, this is like okay, you're still shedding, but now start to build and show the fuck up, on a like really true basis. And there's a lot of people that do this already, but it doesn't matter which, I think, part people are experiencing, like to what level of that. There's an ego death happening. There's an identity death happening, and a new sense of wants to come in. I experience this as, okay, if I'm not doing the things that align with my soul, I get fucking sad, depressed, stuck, like, very Jupiter and Cancer, Sun square, Saturn, Neptune in Aries, where it's like, you got to feel the big feels. And that's what's hard too, is like square Neptune. It's like, they may not always be telling the truth. So that's like the discernment, right? But it's like, they still have to be felt. Because it automatically, it's like, it's going to move the energy. It's going to move it to where we can actually get to a place of going, okay, I've seen that, I felt that, I see what's true here. And then there's bringing in the other components too, right? Of like, it's still Uranus and Taurus, like it's Mars and Virgo with the South Node. It's like, the body's going to tell us the truth of, are we being our spiritual selves, or are we just fibbing? Because when you get Neptune in the mix with the Yod, with Pluto and Mars and the South Node in Virgo, it can be so easy to kid ourselves. So fucking easy to just be like, figure it out later. Or I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to go do this thing. And it's like doing it without thinking. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know what the next step in the spiritual journey is, so I'm just going to lobotomize myself. It'll be easier. And it's like, no, it won't. Honestly, this is DEFCON 5 stuff for souls that came here to make a difference. Like, very karmic stuff, like not carrying over the karmic weight of hesitation into the next lifetime, which, and that's okay if that happens. It's not right or wrong, but it's not, this isn't the astrology of, oh yeah, just eat the popcorn and just, watch the next headline and be like, oh, I knew that, or I knew this was going to happen. It's like, it's about knowing and seeing what lies beyond that deception of where we're going, and getting like a stronger foothold and walking the baby steps in this new sense of self towards the creation that goes, wow, God asked me to build a staircase like to nowhere, like Stairway to Heaven. And it didn't make sense, but it's like, oh, then this thing happened. And like, now there's this thing that it built this, step ladder to, this elevator to. In short, it's faith. It's a faith walk. You got to be able to trust ourselves with these yods. The cost of hesitation, stress, a lot of stress, doubt. If the emotions start to come, behind it, it can make it really messy. And it could produce a feeling of like feeling lost, like not knowing what to do. But really, the information already came. The lifeline was already there. It's really just about having to accept, like, oh shit, I already know what to do. I just maybe don't want to do it, because all this Aries energy, this Neptune, Saturn, it's asking for bravery. Like, that's the thing. It's like we've been on the more, and I know it may not seem like it because we've all went through hard stuff, but we're still in the kindergarten version of the spiritual awakening part, in my opinion. You know, it's like the psychology of the mind and the subconscious of what's real, what's not. It's hard, like going through Alice in Wonderland over and over again and never knowing when it's going to hit. But the real stuff, you know, it's like Neptune in Aries is going, oh shit, like we have to take what we know spiritually and go, maybe that was real, maybe that wasn't, but I have to just like show up now and see like what is the spiritually integrity aligned thing to do with Saturn. And so the square over to the Sun Jupiter is like, okay, like I'm safe, I can do this. And maybe sometimes some fact checking too of all of it, right? Like using Mercury to be like, okay, like I'm okay right now. Because honestly, the thing that I think dupes people the most is going to be, let me take the action that is going to, I'll just work my ass off in order to create some sense of abundance, safety, protection. But that's like the blind program. It's like the program that was like very societal, very religious, that doesn't prepare people for the unknown, facing the fear of death, which is just change. It's happening every moment. And so that's really, I think, the best way to use Mars is to go, you know, like the change is going to happen, but it's like, it's not even about the change that we force. It's about kind of getting out of our own way to go, just because we feel fear doesn't mean we need to turn into a beaver and build a dam and try to fix a bunch of stuff in life that's not broken, that spiritually speaking is going, why do that? Because that's not even what you've learned. That's not even what you were taught through this whole spiritual journey and awakening. And so we have to just trust that we have enough insight and enough tools at this point that as every day now this becomes more and more real, and it already is real as fuck, where it's like we can trust ourselves to anchor in and, you know, be the vibration of the change, because it starts there for sure, right? It's the vibrational anchoring of the role that you're here to play, even if it's just the role in the moment. It could sound a little schizo, but I mean, we all know that we have different parts of our spiritual identities that are there, but this is really more about committing to the one that is really going to get the job done. And so there is a masculine component to that that's not passive, but it's like, okay, I anchor in the frequency and then I do the thing and take the action for more of the thrill of it, more of the courage of the expression of it, as opposed to like the exact outcome of it. Because when we're doing actions that are attached to outcomes in this astrology, like that energy shows up in the field and it spells, hey, I'm doing this because I'm afraid. I'm doing this because I feel fear. And what I think most people are looking for is not fear. They're looking for truth. They're looking for safety. They're looking for protection. They're looking for a way through all of the noise going on, you know. And the weird thing is that I've said this before, but it's like, yep, there's the distractions. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but depending on where you live, especially in the cities, like there's probably a lot of really weird frequencies that get pumped into the environment to create confusion, to create doubt, to create fear, So it's like if you're having, weird intrusive thoughts or whatever, get out into nature, unplug, reset, find that center, because there's going to be times with this astrology where we have to sort of be okay that it's not going to be like maybe what we were sold. Like it's all just going to be some magic fucking golden carpet ride thing that we have to like fill our cup. We have to fill up. We have to do the things that nurture us, but then like show up on the spiritual battlefield, you could say, which the spiritual battlefield's really just about holding the integrity of who you really are and like not giving up, to where it's not even a fight, it's more just like a resilient commitment. And because like if we're using this astrology to just feel a certain way, to just feel better, we'll quit. The moment that we feel better, we'll quit. And so it's about feeling more than we've ever felt, actually, and expanding our being to go, how much emotion can I actually feel now? Here's the tough part. It can be really easy, especially with that Aries Cancer square, to start empathically sucking in the energy of what's going on in the world and other people. And so that's not the thing, right? So we still have to use our free will and define like what is an integrity as far as like energetic and physical boundaries. This is about, where we put our energy in the world, like what environments that we're in, what we're paying attention to, where the focus is going. And so if you seemingly randomly just start thinking about some person that you're not even around, I would just use discernment around that energy. It's something I have to do a lot. I mean, I put a fair amount of content out on the social media spheres, and so, sometimes it attracts hummingbirds, sometimes it attracts mosquitoes, right? So it's really just about keeping your energy kind of housed and protected, so that not from a place of defensiveness, like being a weakling, but like from a place of like, no, like I have commitments to myself and to my personal world and the world that I live in and reside in, and the people to help too. So lastly, I wouldn't use this astrology to force trying to help people right now, like force helping people. Because there's a lot of people right now that are like towards the end of like their caterpillar to butterfly moment. Some will make it, some won't. That's just the reality of it. And if you've heard, like if you try to force a caterpillar through its process too soon to the butterfly, it actually dies, right? There's a spiritual natural component to sometimes letting people go through their hardships, their suffering. A lot of times it can be stuff that like gets perceived as, this is bad, I feel so bad, this person feels this way, let me help them, blah, blah, blah. We do that for ourselves, others do it for us. But with Neptune in the mix, with the square, with the yod, at least one of them, it's like we can't really identify what is fully good for us and not good for us. So we have to exercise a lot of like neutrality. And I think our number one job, Mars and Virgo at that south node and that other yod with Pluto, Cancer sun, is to have a fucking shitload of sensitive empathy, but like neutrality that like shows restraint, that doesn't get involved. Like if you've heard the saying that angels, spirit guides, they can assist, but they can't like directly intervene or get involved. We kind of have to like be thinking about that, like for others or like the world, because the problem is the moment that it's like wanting to like help or overextend. And if we're not solid in ourselves, like, it can become the service-based person that's just like overworking themselves, like working overtime. So if you want to get a personal astrology reading, drop a link or a comment. I am planning on using the Sun-Jupiter conjunction that's coming here to talk a little bit more about the group coaching that I'm going to be doing. It's like a higher self group coaching is what I refer to it as, because I've learned as an intuitive being that it's really, really ultra important to come from the higher self, like when helping people, because like that last transit I named, where it's like, hey, don't try to help people that maybe don't need it or want it, or it's not time for it. And so the higher self knows the divine timing of it. And so, yeah, for people that are maybe more on a budget, or just especially wanting like more community, you can reach out about that before I announce it. But planning on getting that going so that I can use these transits to create more community, more connection, but also just a gentle nudge in the right direction, because at the end of the day, this astrology can seem like empathy gets like lost in the wind, and that we have to like do things and make changes, and it's like very masculine. But I think there's a sense of mastery is still bringing the empathy, the compassion, the connectivity to all of it. And ironically, that is the change. That's what matters most. So I'll see you all next time.